Okay, what you're seeing on the screen here is the beginning of a Windows 7 installation. Now let me tell you what you're seeing. I stuck the Windows 7 DVD into the machine, rebooted the machine, and told it to boot from the DVD-ROM. And normally you will see up there a little informational just as the machine's booting up that says press any key to boot from DVD or CD-ROM, and so you just choose that. If you don't see that, you might need to go out and change your BIOS settings for your various boot devices. Okay, you'll have to chase that down on the internet for your particular machine. Okay, but notice this brings me up to this screen. You could see one that looks a little different that says Start Installation. I don't know why that happens, but in some cases it does. Okay, and so I'm going to click Next here. I'm going to do English. I'll leave all these at defaults, and I will click Next. There we go. Click Next. And now it asks me, do you want to install now? Well, I wouldn't be here, would I? Anyway, notice what to know before installing Windows. I can click this link, and it gives me some information about Windows, and I'll just kind of show you. There's a bunch of information here, and I will leave this to you to go out and look at later, but there's a lot going on there. Take note of this, repair your computer. We will come back to that a little bit later. And for now, I will just click Install Now and let this thing run. And you will notice you're going to see some kind of cool graphics here. Setup is starting. Now, as I go through this, I'm going to talk a little bit here, but I'm not going to record this whole thing. But I just wanted you to see what it looks like and show you some gotchas and show you some not necessarily gotchas, but some information you need to know. Now, while this is running, let me tell you that you can look out on the internet and you can go to Microsoft's site. There's all kinds of information about Windows 7 installations. We'll talk about some of them here, about deployment and imaging and so forth. But what you're seeing is in the installation of Windows 7 is actually the deployment of an image. Okay, and notice this has popped up and telling us we're ready to install Windows. Here's all the license agreement stuff about what you agree to, and on and on and on. I'll pull this down. I know you read all that, right? Okay, so since you've read that, we will accept those license terms, and I would recommend you read that, by the way. And we hit Next. Now, what do we want to do? Do we want to do an upgrade to a newer version and keep our files and settings and blah, 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 or do you want to do an install copy of New Windows? Well, if I choose Upgrade and I don't qualify, it'll click and hum and run a few minutes and then come back and say I can't upgrade that, okay? And so Custom is where I want to install a new copy of Windows. This does not keep your files, settings, and programs, and you would need the USMT to do that, okay? Now, here's where I'm going to choose my disk, okay? And I can choose this particular disk 0. If I had other locations, I could set those. Notice on Drive Options Advanced here, I can format my drive, I can extend it, I can add new partitions and so forth, but I'm just going to take this. But if you have multiple partitions and things out there, you'll see them here, and you can work with them. You can delete them. You can do a lot of cool stuff right here, and I'll just hit Next. We're going to put it right there in that unallocated space. And again, it's going to click and hum. Now, before that interrupted me, you'll also notice I was talking about different things we can do. And so what's going to happen now is we're going to copy the Windows files, and then they will expand. Now, these two pieces right here will take the most time, and these will shock you. And I don't know what exactly is going on, but on some machines like this one, that one just went real quickly, and we'll see how fast this one goes. On some machines, this happens in just a matter of 2 or 3 minutes. I have seen it on one laptop that I installed it on. I honestly thought the thing had frozen up, but I just left it alone. It probably took it an hour and a half to expand those Windows files. Okay? I think it has something to do with humidity or the curvature of the earth or something. But anyway, it will go on. I have yet to do a Windows installation that had any major problems on Windows 7. I've done upgrades, and I've done just like this, clean custom installs, and if you just leave it alone and let it cook when it's running slow, you'll be okay. So you notice we've been going a few minutes here. Now, the farther we go as this percentage gets higher and higher. Once it gets to 30, 40, 50, 60%, it tends to go faster. Notice what's happened. It has shifted down here, and it is now showing you this progress bar step. And if you want to know if it's frozen up or not, just set your mouse close to the end of that thing and watch it over a few minutes' time and see if it moves past it. Again, I have not seen it lock up on an installation, though. What I was saying just a minute ago, before this window popped up, you can dual boot Windows 7, okay? I've done it on one machine. I didn't have any major problems. I had XP on there. I had a blank partition, an empty partition on there. I just went on, pointed it to the empty partition, said set it up, and then when I start the machine finally at the end of it, I could dual boot. Okay, now there's things out on the internet about that. Be very careful with that. I would strongly recommend that you either upgrade. If you're on XP, then it's going to be a clean install. And what I have been doing with clients and with my own machines is simply copying off everything that I need, doing my upgrade, and then copying my files back. But to this point, what's going to happen now is this thing's just going to kind of count through the expansion, and I'm going to pause the video and then come back to you when something new has happened and walk you through this.